Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Izul Hanis Pukam bin Abdul Razak, matric number KH24013. Today we are from Group 4 will be presenting about case study 2, which is troubleshooting unexpected drop in heat duty of shell and tube heat exchanger. So for the executive summary, for the first one is the problem. So heat exchanger E203 is underperforming, causing process temperature to rise to 62 degrees Celsius and risking plant safety and product quality. For the causes, using the X-step troubleshooting process, the team identified valve misalignment and bypass leakage as the immediate culprits, with tube falling as a secondary factor. For the clues, while digital reading DCS appeared normal, field inspection revealed a partially closed cooling water valve, a leaking bypass line, and a pressure discrepancies. So for the solutions, immediate corrective actions includes physical valve realignment, bypass integrity checks, and tube cleaning, supported by long-term preventive audits and instrument cross-checks.
Okay, now let's talk about the introduction. First of all, my name is Muhammad Azim Wafiuddin bin Abdul Aziz. My metric number is KH24019. The heat exchanger E203 is designed to cool a hot process stream from the 95 degrees Celsius to the 45 degrees Celsius before the product enter the storage. However, over a period of the 5 days, the outlet temperature gradually increased to the 62 degrees Celsius. This exceeded the storage safety limit by the 12 degrees Celsius and threat the product quality and the operational safety. One challenge in the investigation was that the DCS data appear normal, making it difficult and intermediately identify the root cause. Therefore, the system troubleshooting approach was the required and determine the actual problem and restore the heat exchanger performance. Now, let's talk about the methodology. To solve the problem, we apply the 8-step troubleshooting process. The first step was to verify and quantify the problem, confirming the temperature increase and assessing the safety risk. Second, we collected the facts and data, include the DCS record, valve position, pipe temperature, and the maintenance logs. Third, we define the deviation using the ISNOTS analysis to understand the nature of the problem. The fourth, we formulate a possible hypothesis by considering mechanical, operational, maintenance, and instrumentation related costs. Next, we analyze prioritize the possible costs based on their likelihood and the available evidence. After that, we test and verify the root cause through the field inspection, calibration checks, and the valve examination. The seventh step involve the implementing corrective action to eliminate the identified problem. The finalize preventive measure were established, include the SOP update, monitoring program, and the maintenance schedule to prevent future failure. That's all.
Moving our into troubleshooting process, which is the step 1 to involve the defining the problem. Looking at our DCS history, we found out that the progressive factor thermal degradation on heat exchanger E203, where the outlet temperature jumped to 62 degrees C, breaching our downstream storage safety limit of 50 degrees C and causing up the spec product. To find out why, the step 2 was collect physical evidence, which is we cross-reference our DCS reading with field log and uncover a major blind spot. The DCS showed that the bypass line was closed, but a physical check revealed a warm, leaking manual bypass valve. This, along with the recent upstream solid surge, gave us our smoking gun. So next, for the step 3, it is required us to look at our normal process operation to establish a baseline. Under normal condition, this heat exchanger should cleanly cool hot reactor fluid from 95 degrees C downsafe to 45 degrees C to balance the heat swap and steady the flow rate. By comparing the problem against this normal baseline, we move to the step 4 and identify the 5 causes possible, which is this include the process type failing, utility site scaling, instrumentation error, and 2 major culprits. Our evidence point to manual isolation, valve misalignment, and mechanical valve leakage. In steps 5 and 6, we match our data against 5 potential causes and rank them by priority. Rank 1, critical. Process fouling. This is our top priority because we confirm a clear rise in the process side pressure drop. Rank 2, bypass leakage. Our inspection found a warm bypass line. We will validate this using an ultrasonic flow meter and infrared cameras. Rank 3, utility scaling. The chemical dosing pump was running intermittently last month. We will calculate the real-time heat transfer coefficient to verify internal scaling. Rank 4, valve misalignment. We found a manual discharge valve that was partial closed. Rank 5, instrument error. This is a mismatch between the local gauge and the control room display. We will run a 5-point calibration check to fix it. Here is our immediate action plan. For step 7, we have 4 immediate corrective actions to get operations back to normal. Action 1, fix valve misalignment. We will completely open the manual cooling water valve and lock it in place using a formal Lotto car seal. Action 2, isolate bypass leak. We will close the isolation blocks around the leaking valve and schedule an immediate seat replacement. Action 3, clean internal fouling. We will perform a chemical flush using a 5% sulfuric acid solutions and a high velocity surfactant to clear out the scaling and build up. Action 4, calibrate instruments. We will recalibrate the flow transmitter loop and replace the broken local gauge so the control room has accurate data. Now, let's look at how we prevent this from happening again. Finally, in step 8, we are putting 4 long-term preventative measures in place. First, automate valve monitoring. We will upgrade the manual valve with an electronic transmitter and set a DCS alarm if it drops below 98% open. Second, secure chemical dosing. We are setting a strict maintenance schedule for the dosing pump and adding a backup pump with an automatic toggle. Third, treat upstream solids. We will install a heavy-duty dual basket duplex strainer upstream to catch debris before it clogs the tubes. 4. Use predictive software. We will code and automate tracking algorithm into the DCS to monitor daily heat efficiency and alert us weeks before a limit is broken. This plan will fix our immediate bottleneck and protect our system moving forward.
Bismillah, I'm Muhammad Syamil Izzat. I will continue on the presentation to explain more about the discussion question. So first, for question 1, which is what is the core crisis of our mini project. So, heat exchanger lost severe cooling efficiency over the 5 days. And first, this caused thermal degradation profile evidence, which we get the 17 degrees Celsius temperature jump while inlet condition remain constant, which proved that the system overall heat transfer has collapsed. Next, we found out that suppressed cooling water inlet temperature is abnormally low, and this confirmed that the fluid either bypassed the tube bundle or blocked from absorbing heat. So, lastly, the inverted hydraulic pressure drops. The low cooling side pressure drops reveal reduced flowing fluid velocity or leaking bypass path, while high process side pressure drop signal internal clogging. Next, for question 2, the question requires us to find the required operating data. So firstly, temperature and thermal data. So we measured 4 points of temperature and the bypass pipe heat to check for absorption. And next is we need to find the differential pressure drop profiles to analyze the high process or low cooling pressure to pinpoint the clogging points. And next, the DCS trends and maintenance history. So we need to also review the past data to differentiate gradual falling from sudden failure. Fourthly, we need to find the flow rate and hydraulic data to use external ultrasonic meters to expose misleading control room flow rates. And lastly, the physical control and valve position indicators. This allows us to cross-check digital control signals against physical manual valve blockage. So for question 3, what is the actual problem versus the instrumental error that we get from the DCS? First, local gauge comparison. So we get to cross-check electronic DCS reading against manual field dials. So if the mechanical gauge reads normal reading, it is a sensor fault. Next, handheld IR testing. We get to measure pipe skin temperature with an infrared gun, which if it shows a 60 degrees Celsius reading, which confirm a process failure, while a 45 degrees Celsius reading proved a transmitter drift. Then we have energy balance check, which calculate the match heat loss versus heat gain. If the thermodynamic mathematically contradict with each other, thus it is primary error sensor. And lastly, for trend signature analysis, by reviewing data graph, smooth transition indicate real process changes where flat lines and sharp spike or sensor saturation signal electronic failure. Okay, so lastly, for question 4 and 5, which is the what is the potential root causes, prioritize, and the future preparedness for these issues. So for the potential root causes, which is the top priority, we put it as cause A, which is the process particulate falling, as it causes a thermal burden thermodynamically in the system. And for the second and the third, which is cause C, mechanical bypass leakage, and the third one is utility side tube scaling or biofouling, ranked as medium because both of these causes a burden, not in terms of heat exchange, but causes a big difference in temperature pressure difference in the whole process. And lastly, for the fourth and 5, which is top as the low, medium, and lowest priority, is the cause D and cause E, which is mechanical valve misalignment and instrumentation transmitter. So for the future preparedness, we put emergency troubleshooting logic tree checklist to help the operator to find any troubleshooting and cause the use logic to find out what can expected to happen if some problems are not solved first. Then we have automated DC's performance and trend reviews to help personnel in charge to check the trends of disease reports. And next, we have integrated chemical dosing and process quality logs to help operators easily handle the data obtained from the chemical dosing and process quality. Lastly, we did the predictive instrument calibration schedules to easily calibrate instrument when needed. For example, 6 months to schedule.
So for the conclusion, unexpected drop in heat duty of E203 was caused by a combination of reduced cooling water flow, bypass valve leakage, and falling or scaling on heat transfer surface. A partially closed manual valve reduced cooling water flow, while the intermittent dosing pump operation contribute to falling and scaling. Bypass leakage allow part of the hot process fluid to bypass the heat exchanger, reducing heat transfer efficiency. Instrument discrepancy between DCS reading and local gauge delayed early detection of the problem. Application of the X-type troubleshooting process enables systematic identification and prioritization of root cause. Short-term action include fully opening the manual valve, repairing the bypass valve, and recalibrating the instrument. Medium-term action include cleaning the heat exchanger tube and restoring the chemical dosing system. The long-term preventive measure includes implementing inspection checklists, DCS trend monitoring, and regular calibration schedules. That's all from our group. Thank you.